I'm back for round two, and that happened. So this is I'm going to call it a rant view on Madam Web. And obviously, I really did not enjoy this movie whatsoever. So this is essentially the story of Cassandra Webb. It already sounds Oscar worthy. And she is like a paramedic who works with Ben Parker. So there's your Spider-Man tie-in. And she discovers the power to see the future and stuff. So essentially, her mother was researching spiders in the Amazon, and she came across this spider that gave the villain Spider-Man like powers. That sounds so stupid, but I'm going by what I know. So, the villain here is named Ezekiel Sims, played by Tahir Rahim, I think his name is. And this is going to be spoilers because I'm sure nobody else is going to see this. He kills Cassandra Webb's mother, and she was pregnant at the time, but then these spider people or whatever the fuck come out of the trees and actually save the baby, and that's how Cassandra Webb got her powers. Yeah. So, anyway, present tense. She comes in contact with three teenage girls who get powers to become spider women. And the movie is very cleverly stupid to give you like two scenes of these three teenagers as spider women. And it's basically like a futuristic montage. It's really, really bad. And it kind of like gets you very disappointed. But essentially, this movie is set up as like a thriller, which makes absolutely no sense. And I've heard people like pitch this as Final Destination, but with superheroes. And that kind of makes sense in a way, but the story is just bad. And not to mention, the acting is terrible throughout all of these characters. Dakota Johnson is very wooden, and I don't even want to get started with the villain because I'm going to get into him in a few minutes here, so buckle up there, buckaroo, because I have some stuff to say there. But I think there are some redeeming qualities, and those are the three girls. For what they got, they actually tried, and I kind of like them over Dakota Johnson. So, yeah. These three girls are basically summed up by their personality traits. Sydney Sweeney is the nice schoolgirl, which is kind of like the voice of reason. Celeste O'Connor, I think, is the black girl, and she just talks about being hungry all the time. And the third chick, I don't even remember her name or her attributes, so yeah. But essentially, this team up is kind of ridiculous because they treat it as like a kidnapping scheme, and you definitely do get your villain in here, and one of the worst villains that I've ever seen in any superhero movie. I'm not joking. I mean, this could be even worse than the villain in Green Lantern. I hated that villain, but this dude takes the cake. So essentially, this dude's dialogue is terrible, and the ADR is even worse. I mean, throughout the movie, they don't even like focus on the dude talking, for Christ's sake, man. Because he's like in the shadows or whatever, and you don't even see him talking, so you don't even know what he's saying half the time. Because his mouth don't even match up with what he's saying. It's so bad. But his motivation is to kill these girls before they kill him 20 years in the future. I'm losing brain cells at the moment here. So, one of the weakest villain motivations I've ever seen. And don't even get me started with the lack thereof of Spider-Man connectivity. There's basically none. I mean, yeah, you do get Ben Parker and Mary Parker, but that's about it. So, there is a scene where they're at like a baby shower, and Mary Parker is trying to play a game to see what the name of her kid is. We know the kid's name is Peter. Come on. The movie's so stupid to like let you in on that. And not to mention, there is a emotional scene in this movie that involves Mike Epps, of all people. He like works with Dakota Johnson and Adam Scott. He's like a paramedic captain or whatever. She like literally sees his death, and the dude drives off and dies anyway. So, this movie by far, I think, is probably the worst movie that I've seen this year so far. It's not good. It's very embarrassing. And I would rather rewatch Morbius before I even attempt to rewatch this. At least Morbius was more enjoyable, but this movie was just boring. Oh yeah, not to mention, let's see what Madam Web in the comics actually looks like. Dakota Johnson ain't old. Come on, man. But the way this thing wraps up, Ezekiel Sims gets killed by Pepsi. So a Pepsi sign just falls on the guy, and essentially Cassandra Webb gets paralyzed and becomes blind, and that's like the closest you'll see the character design of Madam Web. Shows up in the very end. So, did I like this movie? No. Yeah, this movie was a mess, and I wouldn't even waste your time. But I just saw it just to give you guys a rant view. You're welcome. So overall, Madam Web for me gets an F. A big F. Can't wait to see what's in the future for the Spider-Man less Spider-Verse Sony thing. After this, I don't think it's even going to exist. We're expected to have Kraven the Hunter and Venom 3 this year as well. So we'll see what happens there, but yeah. Don't even waste your time with this one. So those are my thoughts on Madam Web. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my little rant there, but I had to make this video. So there it is. Hope you guys enjoyed. And my next video is probably going to be a little book haul or my next Film in 94 episode. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the near future. Adios. Peace.